Greetings, everybody. I am Lobo, and welcome to Luna. This is episode 213 of my Minecraft survival series, and today we are returning to Luna's Waterside District, where a couple episodes back we built these towers here, for lack of a better word, at the center section of the side sections of this section of the city. And these towers do more than just hold our nether portals. They do more than just hold up our dragon eggs. These towers serve as a centerpiece to these interior sections of the Waterside District, which also happen to be an extension of our storage system, which I have continued to work on. As you can see, I've kind of, been trying to figure out how I want to lay this thing out. It's a long process, okay? I'm working on it. Give me a break. Anyway, the point being, today we're going to be working in these interior sections and trying to figure out the layout of said sections. Man, that was rough. Now, the reason why I wanted to get these towers built in here first was so that way we could build around them. Since we knew they were going to be here, we can kind of figure out how everything needs to be placed in relation to them, right? Now, keep in mind, the floor of this place is going to be 1 block higher than what the floor currently is. The reason for that is so that way we can just place our nice new pathways on top of the blocks that we already have down here once we're actually ready to do that. So if it does seem like I'm building everything a block taller than I should probably be building it, that is the reason. Just letting you know. Now, speaking of pathways, we're going to be building out from this tower, okay? And the first thing we're going to have on the outside of this tower is a walkway leading up to it. So we're going to be building the borders in for the interior area pathways, just like we did for the exterior area pathways. And from there, we can determine where we're actually going to be building stuff in relation to the pathways and everything else that we know is going to be here. But now that we have a border for our pathways, we need to go ahead and put up some safety precautions, because one thing we don't want is when we move villagers into this area, we don't need them falling down into the nether, getting into the nether anyway. I don't think they can anyway, because we purposely built this to where you have to have jump boost in order to get in and out of this thing, right? But we don't want them going down into this area, you know? We also don't want anything coming out of the nether into Luna. So we're going to go ahead and put some walls up. And we're going to top those walls with slabs just like we did for the city walls of Luna. Just to promote that sense of cohesion. So that should take care of the inside perimeter of our walkway, the perimeter surrounding the nether tower right here. Now we need to figure out our walkway. We need to figure out just exactly how wide it needs to be, and then we'll draw in an outside perimeter, kind of make another circle, a larger circle going around this. And outside of that is where we'll put other stuff, but walkway comes first. Now, in case anybody's wondering why I'm building this stuff the way I'm building it, why I'm choosing to put what in what order, it's not because I have some actual strategy in mind. It's just that I know we're going to have the nether portal towers here. So we built those first. I knew I wanted a walkway around the nether portal towers, right? So that's the next step. And what comes after this? Well, I don't know yet. We'll see. And actually, just to demonstrate how poorly thought out this process is, we're getting the borders in for our walkways, right? Which are stairs. So it would make sense that instead of placing down stone bricks, I place down the actual stairs that need to be here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I'll be back with you in just a few. So now that we've got the perimeter of our walkway drawn in, we can start thinking about what else we're going to put inside these interior areas of the lower Waterside District. Now, we're going to kind of let this place determine what needs to go where. For instance, over here on this side, you'll notice we have a lot of windows, right? We're not going to want to block those off, so we need to keep those fairly open. But over here on this side, it's very, very closed off, so this might be a good area for storage and stuff. Also, I now know that to get our access into the bulk storage area, we could probably put a little entranceway right here, maybe. That might be good, except for we have those windows there, so maybe not. This place is still talking to me, you know, it's very indecisive. Why are you so indecisive? So, you know what, while I'm putting some thought into what we should do here, what we could do here, maybe we should work on a little something that we know we're going to do here, and that is getting in these actual pathways, because I believe we already have the perimeter of most of the pathways outlined already, and I'm actually pretty satisfied with the layout of them so far. I mean, I haven't changed them in weeks, so I think we're just going to go ahead and roll with it, right? I mean, it goes everywhere we need to go. It does what we need it to do. And there comes a point where you just gotta pull the trigger, so yeah, I think so. Now, as far as what the pathways are going to look like, we're basically just going to take these same pathways that we use throughout the business district of Luna and just drag these on out into the waterside district. Now, there is a slight change we're going to be making. These pressure plates right here, like they click and clack whenever we walk around, right? And nobody complained about them during the last World Tour, and I was very impressed by that. But I know they can be kind of an ear sore, so I do want to go ahead and turn those sounds down. If I don't do that by the end of the video, just remind me in the comments. I will do that eventually. Okay, so on my side, I still have a little bit more preparation that needs to get done, but as far as you guys are concerned, we're ready to go. So at this point, why don't we go ahead and call Dee Dee on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get some pathways built, huh? Welcome back, everybody. So the Waterside District is looking much more busy now, that's for certain. We got the pathways in, and obviously it's going to look much nicer once we actually get some structures alongside these pathways, some landscaping, some trees, and also now we have a seamless transition from the business district into the Waterside District, if not for the fences here, because these are to keep the villagers safe, right? We want them to stay over there where it's safe and not out here where we still have mobs spawning and all that stuff. Eventually this area will be safe too, so they'll be over here eventually. And there's another thing. Okay, you ready? Listen to this. I've quieted down the pressure plates. So now they're not as loud as they were. It's a little jarring for me that they're so quiet. I feel like they should be louder with how used to them I've gotten. But I think this will, you know, it will be a little bit less intrusive on us as we make our way through here, right? But we only brought these pathways back as far as these nether portal towers right here. We haven't done the upper ones. We will get around to that eventually, and like the further back areas, those will eventually have pathways too. But I don't know what's going there yet, so we're not going to mess with that right now. We're just working on the stuff that needs to happen right now, and that's all stuff that's related to our storage system, and all this stuff that we're doing right now is actually related to the big storage system project. Speaking of the storage system, you'll notice as we make our way through this main storage area, there are no pressure plates on the ground because we do have redstone under here, and, you know, that could be troublesome, right? So we'll just avoid that whole thing. But now that our pathways are out of the way, we can start thinking about these interior areas of the Waterside District, how we're going to lay out what needs to be laid out in there, where we're going to store stuff, where we're not going to store stuff. Because remember, they are going to act as a part of the storage system. At least these big circular areas on either side are going to act as a part of the storage system. We're going to start over here. I mean, not to play favorites or anything, but this is a little bit more important than that side over there, just because of its proximity to the main storage system, right? This is where we're going to be storing more important stuff. So this is where I'm going to focus my attention, at least early on. Did I just say not to play favorites, but this side is more important? I think I did. It's like the definition of playing favorites, isn't it? So, I mean, as far as getting the layout down, all I'm basically doing right now is just sectioning off certain areas where it makes sense to kind of section them off. For instance, I'm thinking this back area, like this open space back here, could be used as a part of our storage system. We could have something going on in there. Maybe to the areas off to the sides of that, we could do something else, or maybe use that as a part of the storage system as well. I do know that this back area is going to lead to the back section of the Waterside District and off into the yet unnamed districts beyond that. So, I mean, that's something at least. I don't know. I'm still working stuff out. I'm going to need some time here. Now, over here on the other side of the Waterside District, we're basically just going to mirror what we've been doing over there, pretty much, except for the fact that you'll notice we have a lot less room on the outside of these pathways, right? But that's okay, because over here in the storage area, we can kind of just knock down this wall, because there's actually nothing that's going to be visible from the outside behind it. So we do have a lot more room than it appears, for the most part. So now that we have these areas sectioned off, we can start kind of, you know, building out these sections, right? And we know this is going to be a storage area. We got enough height in here to fit a 6-tall column of double chests, just like we have elsewhere in the storage system. And that saves us a little bit of room to get, I'm thinking a tapered ceiling, kind of going up towards that stair block right there. Because remember, the grass doesn't need to be there. We can take that out. So we have a couple blocks of space. And yeah, let me go ahead and, in case you guys don't remember, like, this is not intended to be an exterior area, or at least not all of it is intended to be exterior area. The floor will come up to about right here, just like we did downstairs. I'm just kind of saving myself some room to get in whatever pathways we need to get in when we need to actually get them in. You know what might also be a good idea? Using the right type of wood to build these sections, because I don't want them to be oak. I got a little confused because, you know, walking in here, obviously, you see the oak. I have oak set aside for all these things, the walls and stuff like that. But we're not building the walls. We're building part of the storage system on the inside, which means we're going to be using the stripped spruce with the spruce accents rather than barked oak with the spruce accents, because we want the walls to be cohesive with the walls and the storage system to be cohesive with the storage system. So I need to replace all these. I've got some ideas. So I'm thinking that this right here is going to be a storage area. We discussed that. I think this is also going to be a storage area. And as far as these sections off to the side of either of these storage areas go, I'm thinking these could lead us down into our mine or into our bulk storage. I was originally planning on accessing that from this way, but I think maybe doing them over here in these little side sections would make a little bit more sense, just having a pathway leading right down into there from either side of this, right? And that would also be easier to incorporate on the other side of the Waterside District as well. So, I mean, we got a plan, and I was stumped, to be honest with you. Earlier, I was a little stumped as to how we we're going to do this, but you know what? You just keep putting down blocks. Eventually, stuff makes sense. Occasionally. Not always, but occasionally. Now, as far as this other side goes, I told you guys I wanted this to be more open, and we're going to leave this open. This is going to be just a floor with a bunch of seating and probably some other stuff thrown in here. I want this to be kind of like a festival dining hall type place. So this can be where Luna gathers for events and stuff like that. So, I mean, really, all things considered, this area right here, this is going to be prime real estate, you know? Center of the city, on the water. Man, you couldn't ask for anything more. Now, what I'm still not 100% sure on is what we're going to do over here, like if these windows are even going to be visible or not, because as I said, we're going to have, you know, storage over here. We're going to have access to our bulk storage down here. That might kind of close things off a little bit. But, you know, the first step in my process is to just do what we know needs to be done, and we do know a few things that need to be done here. So what we're going to do is do those things, and then we'll determine where we go from there, right? Because there is a chance this whole thing might have to be closed off. There is the chance that that might have to happen, but we won't know until we get to that point, will we? So as far as the checklist of stuff that we know needs to get done goes, we need to dig down into our mines, into our bulk storage. We need to get the rest of this circle put in because we only have a quarter of it in at this point. And I don't know, we'll see where we go from there if we have time to do anything else in this episode. But I think at this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is just call Didi on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get that taken care of. Welcome back, everybody. So at this point, we've made some progress on these interior sections of the Waterside District. Now, we're going to be using certain areas for storage. We've been talking about that. That's what a lot of this project is. It's getting this storage kind of figured out. I still need to figure out what these sections are going to be used for, if anything at all at this point, because they might just be reserved for future additions to the game. Obviously, tons of work to do in here. We need walls. We need floors. We need to figure out what we're going to be doing over here, because I do think we could probably do something over here, given that the floor height, we could make like a raised area over here. I don't know. Still lots of stuff to consider, but what we do have done is pathways leading down into the bulk storage areas, right? So this, I think, is going to make making our way down into the lower storage sections much more convenient, because all we need to do is just drop down this hole and guess where we are? We are in the lower storage. And man, this is so convenient. I wish I had this so long ago, because to get out, all we do is pop up here and guess where we are? We're back up top. Let's go ahead and go out this way since we came in the other way. But yeah, so far, I'm pretty happy with the turns we're taking here. It seems like slow progress, but I'm putting a lot of thought into this, just trying to make this as convenient as I can, because that's not something I considered when working on the storage system before. Now, this side is obviously much smaller than the other side, but that doesn't mean it's going to have any less functionality. Look at this. Leaving a mess over here. Man. You'd think I'd clean up after myself before giving you guys a grand tour of this place and show you guys what we've done, right? But anyway, this pathway right here leads us down into what will be the overflow section of our storage system, what is currently the main section of our storage system, which is now actually much more convenient to get into. Like I said, I really wish I would have done this sooner, but you know what? We're doing it now. We're making progress. That's what this is all about, right? We are making progress. Alright, so I've got some tentative plans for what we're going to store where. Over here on the farm district side of the waterside district, just so you know where we are, we're going to have a space here to store ores, right? And I'm not talking about boat ores, I'm talking about the ore blocks that we get or what we get from those ores. And we can easily connect this up to the redstone for our storage system or item transportation and stuff like that. That's all I know for sure is going on this side right now. Now, over here on the other side of the Waterside District, the smaller side, the Wolfen's Lab side, this is where we're going to store our mob drops, right in front of Wolfen's Labs, because I figured that makes sense, right? That seems fitting. And then over here on this side, this is where we're going to store our end stuff, probably. And I know it doesn't look like we have a lot of space to fit in, like redstone and item transportation back here, but I do think we have plenty of room because most of that stuff is going to be fairly high up and we do have a lot of room up high. Now, how we're going to access the back area is through here diagonally out the circle, and that will give us access to this back part of the Waterside District and the district beyond this one. Over on the other side of the Waterside District, it's going to be a little bit different how we get out to the back areas because we're not going diagonally out of the circle. We will instead be coming directly through this back main section right here because if we were to go diagonally, well, we just hit a wall, right? As I mentioned before, the Waterside District, it's not symmetrical. The different sides are just meant to complement each other. Oh, man. We're moving along, aren't we? We're getting some stuff done. There's still a lot more work to do, but we are indeed getting some stuff done. I just need to set aside more time to plan and figure out the actual storage and all that stuff. That's what I need to do. Like, if we were just working on, you know, a project, like just the redstone section right here, we could have this done in an episode, right? But I don't want to do stuff like that. You know, I want to work on this thing as a whole, and as a result of that, you know, this one project is actually a dozen or more other projects all combined into one, so it's kind of weird the way this is being worked on, but I do think it's going to benefit this project overall. It's just going to take some time. But speaking of time, that is all the time I have for this episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me, and if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.